So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture and have both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And then just go to the crown of the head and release any tension there. And relax the scalp and the forehead, the nose, the eyes, the cheeks, the area around the mouth. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades just to drop down. I forgot the back of the head. Relax your chest and belly and limbs. And then just go back to the spine and lengthen the spine. This beautiful string of pearls of light, putting some space in between the vertebrae. And then just be aware of the sensation of the breath as you inhale and exhale. The nostrils, the chest cavity, and imagine as you're inhaling, this is a 360-degree expansion of the breath. Try and breathe into the back of the lungs. And then just be aware of any distractions in your environment, outside your home, your apartment, inside your space, just allowing all the sounds and the distractions to be there and trying not to follow with the mind. Excuse me. And then just check in with yourself, see what's going on in your mind this evening. And just allow the thoughts to arise and abide, and then just dissipate. Try not to judge what's there. But just be aware of what kind of thoughts you might be having. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, the strangers, and then the ones you don't really like. And just remember they're all interchangeable, these relationships. Not only that, they're impermanent. Things change all the time. So I read today of this woman who went to the scrapyard in place of her husband because he was really tired. She was right underneath the path of that plane that crashed. So they haven't found her. So she just went out to do like maybe a 30-minute errand, and she didn't come back. So things like this happen, quite more frequently than we realize. And we cling to our relationships as if they're permanent, but they change. Some people are very fortunate to live in really happy, comfortable relationships for years and years and years. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And again, thinking of all these There was another plane crash into a highway in Philadelphia also this afternoon. So all these people that are experiencing aviation difficulty and trauma, and then for all the people whose planes have been delayed, there's general chaos everywhere, it seems, here right now. So just maybe dedicate for some kind of pacification. Okay, so we think there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. So, Christine, I'm going to mute myself, so you unmute yourself and go ahead 7 times. Thank you.
Om Vajrasattva Samaya Malapalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Dina Mabawa Sutukaya Mabawa Supakaya Mabawa Anurata Mabawa Sarasiti Mepayasa Sarakama Sutta Me Sisam Shiram Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Saratata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sava Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Malapalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Dino Mabawa, Sutokaya Mabawa, Supokaya Mabawa, Anurakta Mabawa, Sarasiti Mepayasa Sarakama Sutta Me, Sisam Shiram Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Saratata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sava Ahum Te. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Malapalaya Vajrasattva Dana Patita Dino Mabawa Sutokaya Mabawa Supokaya Mabawa Anurakta Mabawa Sarasiti Mepayata Sarakama Sutta Me Sisam Shiram Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Saratata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sava Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Malapalaya Vajrasattva Dana Patita Dino Mabawa, Sutokaya Mabawa, Supokaya Mabawa, Anurakta Mabawa, Sarasiti Mepayata, Sarakama Sutta Me, Sisam Shiram Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Saratata Gata Vajramame Mutta, Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sava Ahum Pe, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Malapalaya, Vajrasattva Dana Patita, Dino Mabawa, Sutokaya Mabawa, Supokaya Mabawa, Anurakta Mabawa, Sarasiti Mepayata, Sarakama Sutta Me, Sisam Shiram Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Saratata Gata Vajramame Mutta, Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sava Ahum Pe, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Malapalaya, Vajrasattva Dana Patita, Dina Mabawa, Sutokaya Mabawa, Supokaya Mabawa, Anurakta Mabawa, Sarasiti Mepayata Sarakama Sutta Me, Sisam Shiram Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Saratata Gata Vajramame Mutta, Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sava Ahum Pe, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Malapalaya, Vajrasattva Dana Patita, Dino Mabawa, Sutokaya Mabawa, Supokaya Mabawa, Anurakta Mabawa, Sarasiti Mepayata, Sarakama Sutta Me, Sisam Shiram Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Saratata Gata Vajramame Mutta, Vajrabaha Mahasamya Sava Ahum Pe.
To any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. So go ahead, Lorraine.
Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutakaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anurakt Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mepayatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Siddham Shriam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa, Sutakaya Mebawa, Supakaya Mebawa, Anarakta Mebawa, Sawa Siddhi Mepayatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me, Siddham Shriyam Guruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dita Mebawa, Sutakaya Mebawa, Supakaya Mebawa, Anurakta Mebawa, Sawa Siddhi Mepayatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me, Siddham Shriyam Guruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Tita Mabhawa, Sutakaya Mabhawa, Supakaya Mabhawa, Anarakta Mabhawa, Sawasiti Mabhyasa Sawakama Sutame, Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajimami Mutta Vajaba Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe, Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapatina Patita, Tita Mabhawa, Sutakaya Mabhawa, Supakaya Mabhawa, Anarakta Mabhawa, Sawasiti Mabhyasa Sawakama Sutame, Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajimami Mutta Vajaba Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe, Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapatina Patita, Tita Mabhawa, Sutakaya Mabhawa, Supakaya Mabhawa, Anarakta Mabhawa, Sawasiti Mabhyasa Sawakama Sutame, Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajimami Mutta Vajaba Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe, Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapatina Patita, Tita Mabhawa, Sutakaya Mabhawa, Supakaya Mabhawa, Anarakta Mabhawa, Sawasiti Mabhyasa Sawakama Sutame, Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajimami Mutta Vajaba Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe.
Okay, then just feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And now our mind. So you imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So as instantaneously as walking into a room that's pitch black and you flick on the switch and the light comes, it just comes straight away without any delay. So imagine the same thing here. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So depression, attachment, neediness, anger, bitterness, grudges, resentment, jealousy, anxiety, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. So go ahead, Nim.
Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Mibhawa Sutokaya Mibhawa Supokaya Mibhawa Anirakta Mibhawa Sarvasiddhi Miprayatsa Sarvakama Sisame Tisha Shriyam Guru Om Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabhava Samaya Sato Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Mibhawa Sutokaya Mibhawa Supokaya Mibhawa Anirakta Mibhawa Sarvasiddhi Miprayatsa Sarvakama Sisame Tisha Shriyam Guru Om Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabhava Samaya Sato Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Mibhawa Sutokaya Mibhawa Supakaya Mibhawa Anirakta Mibhawa Sarvasiddhi Miprayatsa Sarvakama Sisame Tisha Shriyam Guru Om Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabhava Samaya Sato Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Mibhawa Sutokaya Mibhawa Supakaya Mibhawa Anirakta Mibhawa Sarvasiddhi Miprayatsa Sarvakama Sisame Tisha Shriyam Guru Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabhava Samaya Sato Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Mibhawa Sutokaya Mibhawa Supakaya Mibhawa Anirakta Mibhawa Sarvasiddhi Miprayatsa Sarvakama Sisame Tisha Shriyam Guru Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabhava Samaya Sato Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Mibhawa Sutokaya Mibhawa Supakaya Mibhawa Anirakta Mibhawa Sarvasiddhi Miprayatsa Sarvakama Sisame Tisha Shriyam Guru Ho Bhagavan Savatata Vajramami Musa Vajravama Samaya Sato Ahompe Om Bhajasato Samaya Manipalaya Bhajasapatina Patita Didamibava Sutakaya Mibava Supakaya Mibava Anuraka Mibava Savrasiddhi Mibayata Sarakama Susami Tisham Shriyam Guru Om Aho Bhagavan Savatata Vajramami Musa Vajravama Samaya Sato Ahompe.
So now feel just delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And then think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time you imagine Vajrasattva sending nectar and light. So the nectar flows down and pushes out all the negativity of the body, and it flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech, and then the light comes and blasts all the delusions, and they all instantly disappear. And so this is happening all at the same time, as at the same time as you're reciting the mantra. So Elizabeth, go ahead.
Om Varsava Samaya Manupalaya Varsava Dinapatita Didamabawa Sutokaimabawa Spokaimabawa Anaraktevabawa Savasimi Payatutama Kamatutame Titam Shiakuruhum Ha 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 Bhagavan Savatatagata Vajamamimutsa Vajabhava Samaya Sata Pe Om Varsava Samaya Manupalaya Varsava Dinapatita Didamabawa Sutokaimabawa Spokaimabawa Anorectomy bawa sava simi priyata sava kaututame titum shiakuruhum ha 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 bhagavan sava tata gata vashamame matava shabhava masamaya satahum pe avasava samaya manupalaya vasava dhanapatita tilame bawa sutokaime bawa supokaime bawa anorectomy bawa sarva sidimi priyata sava kaututame titum shiakuruhum ha 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 bhagavan Savatata gata vashamame matava baba samaya sata pe Om Varsafa Samaya Manupalaya Varsafa Danupatita Dilame Bawa Sutokai Mabawa Spokai Mabawa Anoraktame Bawa Savasime Priyata Sava Kamututame Titum Shiakuruhum Ha 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 Bhagavan Savatata gata vashamame matava baba samaya sata pe Om Varsafa Samaya Manupalaya Varsafa Dinapatita Dilame Bawa Sutokayame Bawa Spokayame Bawa Anorektame Bawa Savasime Priyasa Sava Kamututame Titum Shiakuruhum Ha 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 Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vashamame Matava Baba Samaya Sata Ahom Pe Om Varsafa Samaya Manupalaya Varsafa Dinapatita Dilame bawa, sutokai bawa, spokai bawa, anorectome bawa, sarvasimi prayata sava kamatutame, titum shia puruhum ha 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 bhagavan, savatata gata vajamame mantava javava samaya sata ahom pe. Om varsafa samaya manupalaya varsafa dinapatita. Dilame bawa, sutokai bawa, spokai bawa, anorectome bawa, savasimi prayata sava kamatutame, Titam Shia Kuruhum Ha 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 Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vashamame Matava Jabhava Samaya Sata Ahom Pe.
So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's really crucial, because without making some kind of a decision or determination, we're not going to do anything. So Barbara right now is in the November course. She had to decide to do it, and then decide to book. And then, do you know what I mean? For all of us, if you want to go do something, you have to decide to do it, and then you put in place a plan. Which airline are you going to fly on? Do you want the cheapest, the most comfortable? How are you going to go with that? So it's the same here. We're going to make a plan. So we first of all decide this is something I want to do. Everybody here obviously wants to do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So just reaffirm that to yourself. Hey, this is amazing. So rejoice. I don't want to harm. That's fantastic. And you might notice when you've got that in your mind stream, that wish to refrain from harming, but animals may not be as afraid of you as because you're not carrying this harmful energy around with you. Or you're being a little bit more conscious, as they like to say here in California. So think of something you'd like to work on maybe between now and tomorrow. And when you make a determination to do something, it gives you focus and a mission almost, and strength. So imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next Rinpoche would recommend to think a little bit about emptiness. So some of you had quite a bit of teaching on emptiness from various different teachers. So you can think about what you remember from there, or maybe the only thing you remember is the word emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. It's always good to question. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. All right, so let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri, whose handsome crown has sterling sapphires, whose hair has tips of sapphire deep blue, with glory from the light of his great jewel, adorned with emanations of the Buddhas. The shaker of 100 worldly realms, his strength, the 4 miraculous powers, reality with mindfulness supreme, Samadhi king of fourfold mindfulness, infused with sense from bloom on Bodhi's branches, an ocean of Tathagata virtues, with knowledge of the eightfold path's true way, with knowledge of the path of perfect Buddhas. Okay, you guys did beautifully. That was so sweet. I want to do that again. Maybe we just do that once a week. Everyone takes turns to recite, because it was so sweet. It's just lovely to hear your voices, because I just see your faces, and sometimes I don't see any faces because you've got your cameras turned off. So let's do that, shall we? Would you like to do that? Okay. All right. So tomorrow morning, I've asked Venerable Dundrup to fill in for me for the early morning meditation. So I'll let Mary know, because I've been sleeping until like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm still not very well. So I will probably be back to normal next week.